next guest says a Trump victory in November is a virtual certainty, and his election predictor has been right for the past 2 decades. Joining us tonight is Helmut Norpoth, a political science professor at Stony Brook University in New York. Helmut, good to have you back with us.
Well, thanks for being back with you.
We are watching extraordinary numbers reverse in these polls, and in very quick order. We're talking about Florida, we're talking about Ohio, where he is moving strongly. Michigan is now in play. Nationally, in one poll, a tracking poll, the Los Angeles Times, USC poll, a 6-point lead for crying out loud. In the most recently reported now tonight, polled by Fox News, a 1-point lead in the head-to-head matchup and a 1-point deficit in the four-way. I mean, he is looking unbelievably strong after being in affected despair 2 weeks ago. Your thoughts?
Well, the forecast that I made relied on a comparison of the strengths of the two candidates, and I had always said that Donald Trump was the stronger candidate that was shown in the primaries. He did much better in the primaries relative to the opposition that he had than Hillary Clinton. So I always thought that he had the stronger hand, and it just seems to be coming through right now.
In that regard, he outperformed his polling in the last half of the primary season, doing much better than the polls suggested in the actual elections. Do you expect that phenomenon to be replicated in the general election November 8th?
Well, I always feel that the polls are sort of lagging in capturing Donald Trump's appeal. And as you mentioned the Los Angeles Times poll. The polls that use the internet are usually quite different from the telephone polls. And I think telephone polls have a very difficult time reaching the public these days. People don't pick up their phone anymore. So I'm really skeptical about the polls, and
one of the biggest outliers in this election so far, and I'm not saying they're wrong, I repeat, but the Washington Post ABC News poll continues to be away from the pack. They may be proved right, they may be proved wrong, but all we do know right now is they're an outlier, and they're regarded as one of the traditional strongest polls. But
I think one
I
thing
wonder what's going on.
Yeah, I think one thing you always want to look at when you see a poll is what's the division by Democrats and Republicans, and it tells you a lot. I mean, if the Democrats have a lead of 10 points or more in a poll, well, you know. Hillary is way ahead. So I would say any poll that has Democrats ahead by more than maybe 4 or 5 points, I would be very skeptical, because that's just not right.
Well, now we know one thing here on the Lou Dobbs Tonight Show, and that is, if your expectations do not conform to those of Helmut Norpoth's, you are in all likelihood, based on the evidence of the past 2 decades, going to be proved wrong come November 9th. It's good to have you in this, Professor.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Helmut Norpoth.